Hey, Chloe and Jacob, this is Michael. Wanted to do this video as a kind of review of Chloe's first full-blown shoot. So congratulations on that, Chloe. I think overall you did a really good job. And at this point, it's going to be kind of a matter of making some refinements on things. But in terms of the basics, it looks like you are good to go. So let's get started with this. Okay, so I'll just kind of go image by image. If I see stuff that I need to comment on, I'll comment on it. This is a good shot overall, good composition. Couple challenges here is that you have a lot of really bright clouds. You can't fully avoid that. In a situation like this, I'd encourage you to shoot darker rather than lighter. It's always easier to recover shadows, and you could definitely drop this down probably 2 or 3 stops. You'd have no problem recovering the shadows, but you'd have less of this highlighting. So just a thought. Just a thought there. This is a hard shot. I totally get that. It's weird because the tree is so large. It sort of shows off the whole house, but it really doesn't. This is the kind of shot that should be showing off the whole house. Let me show you what I did here, because I shot this house too. Okay. So this is probably going to be one of their keynote. I can't remember if they use this as a keynote shot, but probably so. It has some advantages and disadvantages. Obvious disadvantages is that you have all this like unfinished front yard stuff that doesn't look that good. But at the very least, you capture the entirety of the house. I didn't see any solid images where you did that. This is partial, but it doesn't capture the yard, right? And so you definitely make compromises here when you do a shot like this. But at least you get to show off the whole house. Here, I think this is a shot you would keep, but I think you need one that's a little bit further back, and I just didn't see that in yours. I think this shot of the garage makes it look a little bit small. Let me compare it to the garage shot that I did. So here's my garage shot. Let's just look at the differences here. So I photographed it a little bit further back and showed a little bit more of the depth. And you can just see in terms of the sizing you can see I showed a little bit more sky, a little bit, kind of stepped back so you can see the front of the garage. And it just makes it look larger. It's not really a garage, but you get what I mean. I wish I could see your export data here. I'd want to know. Hopefully you're shooting at around f7.1, f7, and f8. That's usually good. And with your focal points, you always want to try and think about the composition in terms of its depth, and I divide that depth into thirds, so maybe here and here, and you want to put your focal point about 1/3 through. It actually looks like you did that. There's just this field is so deep here that it's possible that's why we have so much out of focus stuff there. But overall, I think this, and even look at all the distortion here over on the right, all the blurring over here. So I think for your focal point, maybe even these cracks would have been good, or the base of that. In any case, I think the real issue with the garage shot here is just that you're not showing enough of it. It makes it look small. Okay, this is not a bad shot. I think it's good to show off these details. Let me show you the one that I did and why I think it's a little bit better. So this is how I chose to show off that little kind of stone garden area. There are advantages and disadvantages to mine and yours. What I like about mine a little bit better is that I think I make better use of the lines here. See these leading lines that kind of take your eyes along the pathway into that. What I like better about yours is that you do show off some of this lighting a little bit better. So maybe the best solution is to do something like one of both. Something like that. Just some thoughts, to go through there. Okay, this is a good shot. This is important. You might want to back up a little bit so you can see that this is actually a gate. But that's, now that I think about it, actually ignore that. I think I like what you did actually better. This is good. Okay, this is an important shot. You will want to try and get the entirety of the door in there. So you may want to have to back up a little bit, get at least the right edge of that door in. That would be helpful. I do not like shots like this. Sometimes the photographers will do this if there's a particularly interesting door. I think you're better off doing an angled shot that shows off the door. And I'm not sure if I did one either on this, to be honest. Let's see. I think you're better off doing shots like this, maybe from this corner looking toward that way. If you want to show off the door, if you think it's actually worth showing off, then do it at an angle, because shots like this just make things look compressed and small. And there's nothing particularly impressive about that door, which is why I would say don't even kind of waste time with the shot. But if you're going to, then do something at an angle that tells a bigger story. This is a little bit limited. Okay. Again, here, what would be nice here is to actually get down maybe on one knee and shoot this from a lower angle so that you actually have this kind of nice brickwork in the foreground. That would be another way of kind of showing off this nice little rock garden area, which I do like. I like that you're kind of showing it off, and that's really good. Oh, whoops, these are all mine. Okay. This is good. This is similar to what we were talking about earlier. Okay, this is fine. Except you are out of focus. I don't actually see a single focal point here. So I think Jacob spoke with you about that, about how to find focal point with the D750. Sometimes it's finicky, but I like the composition though. That's really good. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of straight on shots like this, except in some rare instances. And so I think you're better off with these patio shots, taking them at angles. You tend to be able to show more dimensionality in the house, a little bit more depth with angles as opposed to just flat shots. Let me see if I can get one. These are all mine. Let's see. There we go. There's something more like that shows they just tend to look a little bit larger and have a little bit, like I said, depth and dimensionality when you shoot them from a 45-degree angle. So that's what I generally encourage is this is a great shot. This is a good example of that. Okay, good. That's fine. It's not your fault that the yard doesn't look that great. This is a great shot. I like that. I don't like this as much. Just notice kind of the different story that's told between this and this. And I think you'll see what I mean. This is a much better shot, I think, a much better storytelling device than this is. This is just flat. You can't even see the full size of the patio, etc. I think you get the idea. This is fine, a detail shot of the spot. I think you could be back a little bit further. Again, this looks constricted to me, and this is definitely not needed. Definitely not, unless there's some amazing door. This is unnecessary. Okay, good. All right, good. This is a good shot of the room. I think you could actually cut off a little more of this wall. Basically, shift your camera to the right and make this the third wall. Really doesn't need to be huge. Its purpose is to make the room look larger. So maybe cut the frame off right there, just enough so that you can kind of tell there's a wall, and then bring in more from this side. It will make the room look large, and which is what people like. This flash shot is too weak. This is the only one I noticed when I was reviewing your images earlier that I thought was a little bit too weak. You just need to juice it up a little bit. Great window pull. I guess if I had to critique it, I would say you're missing a little bit of that corner right here. Notice how it kind of fades into shadow in that bottom right-hand corner. Try and even it out. That can be as simple as rotating the light in your hand, because the light is light is rectangular, right? And so if you turn it on its shorter side, then you will often get a kind of a broader light. So just play with that a little bit. But overall, the exposure is good, the outside exposure is good, and so is the power on the flash. So that's good. Same here. That's a weird window. It's difficult, but you did what you could with it. That's hard. This is good. Again, I think this wall you could crop in a little, not crop in, but you could bring the frame a little bit more this way and open it up a little bit more to the left. Okay, great flash shot. This is good power. It's not overpowering, but it's enough that you're seeing details. So that's good. I am noticing your vertical lines are not quite straight, which tells me you may not be using the digital level inside of the camera. So if you don't know how to use that, have Jacob show you. He'll show you how to do it. pretty good window pull. You're missing a lot of stuff here on where it fades into darkness. Just keep your eye on that. You really want to try and get the full boundary of the window in even flashlight, because when we go in and brush this stuff in, this part of the window frame will appear darker than the other parts. Okay, that's good. Okay, good flash. Yep. You're out of focus. I don't see a focal point here, so keep that in mind. Okay. Good. This is a solid kitchen shot. Good flash shot, too. Pretty good. Okay, some detail. I don't see a focal point here either. Here, definitely. This is a really good flash shot, actually. That's good. Yeah, so there's a problem here. I'm not quite sure what is even happening. It looks like you did your window pull but hit the wall and not the window. Probably what you'll have to do here, does present some challenges. You'll probably have to kind of, when you do the flash, either place it here going into the window, or even stand right here horizontal to the window and flash it that way. The exterior lighting does look dark. Like what you're seeing through the window does look a little bit dark, so keep that in mind. I'm generally not a fan of square shots like this. I think they can work in some cases. In general, stick with 45s. I think they tend to look a little bit better. This is a good flash shot, though. As a window pull, this really doesn't work. Only half the window, and that barely, has been hit with the flash, and we really need the entire frame of the window to be hit with a flash. Okay. It's good. Good flash shot. Okay, that's a little bit better. As a flash pull, this is pretty good. Now, probably what you're going to have to do in a situation like this where you have this kind of convex type mirror is you'll need to hit it from both sides, from where you are right now, looking toward it, but then notice the shadow that it creates. It's going to be hard to do any brushing around this part because you're going to brush in this dark stuff. So you may want to come over to this other corner and hit it with a second flash shot going in this direction. Okay, this is fine. Okay, watch your focus again. Here, I think you don't have anything in focus. So that's really important because those shots effectively become useless. I don't think there's a focal point there either. Let's see. I'm just going to skip through because a lot of this stuff will just be redundant. Okay, so with this bathroom, there's probably too much wall on this side. So you want to just kind of swing the camera over to the right a little bit and show off this vanity a little bit better. Again, notice your vertical lines. That's typically an indication that you're not using the internal level. So, okay, good. I don't see a flash pop here. It looks like you're just doing ambient shots. Yeah, I don't see a flash pop here, but this would definitely need a flash pop to show off the detail and the stonework in the shower. Just like you did here. Okay, we're just going to skip this stuff. Basic rooms. Okay, this is one where I think, again, that's a good window pull, where I think you could push the left side, the frame over here to the left, and probably cut it off like right here, and then get a little bit more frame here on the right. So that's good. Just little stuff, right? I mean, you clearly have the basics down on a lot of this. So it's just about refinement at this point. Okay, these are good bathroom shots. Again, I'd prefer to have these at an angle rather than head on. The head on just tends to make those bathtubs look smaller. But notice here how you did actually an ambient and a flash shot, unlike in the master bedroom. Okay, so all right, so this is a good test example. Notice this huge cabinet to the left. It's really distracting. And so bring your frame this way so that you actually cut this out. It's not important to anybody, really. Put the frame like right here and then open up this right side a little bit more. I mean, otherwise, good job. It's just that this is so big and prominent that it's potentially distracting. Okay. That's an overblown flash by quite a bit. You have to be careful with these whites, right? Because white's inherently going to, it's more likely to be overexposed. This is overexposed and probably beyond repair, right? Just notice how much detail is lost in those legs when you go from the ambient to the flash. Excuse me. Okay, that's good. Window pull almost. You probably need to be closer to the window. You should probably be standing right here. So you have to put it on timer and then walk over to that part of the window and then pop it from there. In fact, that's a good thing for you to work on because I don't think I see you in any of these images, and for those window pulls, I should be seeing you in multiple images. Okay. Yeah, so like with this, you could be standing here. Okay. This is another one where you're going to want to shoot it from a corner, probably this corner over here, looking in this way, as opposed to just straight on. And notice again your vertical lines here. Notice how it bows. That's an indication that you're probably not level. Okay, so good. I think this is like, Chloe, you are probably 75% there. And all that means is that we're going to start, Jacob and I spoke, and we're going to start putting you on some of the Lander team houses to photograph. And each of those houses I'll go through and review just as I have today to give you a little bit of feedback so you can get kind of maximum growth in a short period of time. But congratulations, you're doing a good job. And I'll talk with you soon. Thanks.